Hi guys, this is Max here with another one of my award-winning videos. And today we're going to take a look at the 2022 gubernatorial elections. Now, I already made a video about primary challenges, but today we're going to take a little look at which party is going to win in which state. I already made several videos about the Virginia gubernatorial election, which very soon will take place. I will make one more video about the New Jersey election as well. I used to think that it wouldn't be competitive at all, but as of right now, it looks like it might be within 10 points. So yeah, I think that's worth a video. Anyway, now, here we got the states. 38 governorships are up for grabs in 2022. It will be a year where we have the most out of all governorships to take. Unlike in the other years, was always just 5, 2, or 3. And now we're going to make an evaluation who's going to win where. Now, first of all, our safe Republican states. Idaho, Wyoming, Nebraska were all safe in 2018. South Dakota wasn't, but Kristi Noem's increasing in popularity, especially with further right individuals. And in the state of South Dakota, that is where you gotta appeal to if you want to win. Oklahoma's gonna be safe, and so will be Texas. I will actually put the state as safe because I don't see any real possibility of Greg Abbott losing. If he runs against Beto O'Rourke, that will be a complete blowout because O'Rourke's not what he used to be in 2018 when he ran for Senate. Right now, he's way more like liberals in New York City or California would want a Texas Democrat to be, rather than what an actual Texas Democrat would look like. Arkansas is going to be safe. Tennessee, Alabama, South Carolina. I actually don't think it's going to be safe. We're going to put it as likely, but we'll get to that very quickly. Now, other safe Republican states will be my home state of Vermont. Massachusetts probably, if Charlie Baker won't lose a primary, which he probably won't. I mean, a conservative Republican's not going to win in Massachusetts. And are there any more safe Republican states? You could say maybe Iowa, but I don't think it's going to be safe. And yeah, I think that's it. Also, Alaska, it will be very close to safe, but it's not going to be safe overall. Now, the Democrats got some safe states too. California, Gavin Newsom will again underperform Joe Biden, but I think he's again going to win. That is if he wins his primary, of course. Maybe another Democrat will make the general election runoff because California doesn't hold primaries. They have a jungle primary with top 2 candidates advancing to the general election. New York will be safe. Rachel Hochul is by far not as scandal-ridden as Andrew Cuomo was, and she's going to win. Rhode Island, the governor of Rhode Island actually became the Secretary of Housing and Urban Development, and her lieutenant governor became governor, who performed a lot better in the 2018 election than the governor did. And so the new governor, the former lieutenant governor, is going to have a fairly easy path to victory. I don't think Ned Lamont will have, though. In a Republican-favorable environment, the state is going to be at least likely. Maybe it'd be lean. That's where I believe Connecticut will be. Now, I do believe that Chris Sununu is going to run for the Senate. He's not announced it yet, but he also doesn't want to polarize the race through an early entry. So I believe it will be probably lean because the Republicans will find a good candidate in order to replace Chris Sununu. There have been a bunch of good names mentioned. For example, Scott Brown, who won a Senate seat for the Republicans out of Massachusetts a couple of years ago, also ran for the Senate in New Hampshire. It's an interesting case. Now, another likely state for the Democrats will be Oregon, not because the incumbent governor there is so unpopular, but simply because she's not allowed to run again, by the way, simply because Oregon and also Washington tend to have likely or sometimes even lean gubernatorial races. I believe that's where Oregon's gonna be. Now, what else do we have here? And next on the list, I forgot Hawaii to mark it as safe for the Democrats, because there's no way a Republican's going to win Hawaii. Illinois, in a Republican-favorable environment, which 2022 is going to be, will likely be a likely state. Maryland, I don't know. I mean, maybe the Republican candidates there could do a bit better than Republicans usually do there. After all, Larry Hogan won there too. But this time, Republicans do not have the factor of the incumbency for them working for them, and the Democrats benefit from the fact that they have to win in Maryland. So that's simply said. Are there any more likely states? Yep, there are three more, all for the Republicans: Iowa, Ohio, and South Carolina. And of course, Colorado for the Democrats. I believe it will be at the brink of being safe, but because it's a Republican, more favorable environment, I think it's going to be likely. South Carolina is a state that is never fully safe for Republicans, but at the same time, they are really the dominant party within the state. The Democrats are running a good candidate who used to be a U.S. representative from a Trump district, Joe Cunningham, but even though he might be able to make it lean, I don't really see him winning it. We don't have any flips here on this map yet, except for Maryland, but our second flip, which you could say is an actually competitive state, is Kansas. Okay, Kansas is a very Republican state, but this election cycle, it will be a competitive state, at least on the gubernatorial election, because it has a Democrat incumbent. Republicans ran a poor candidate in 2018. He was saying he was so far to the right that he couldn't even win in Kansas. And I believe she's going to lose because Kansas is still Kansas. And in an environment that is more favorable to the GOP, in an environment that does not feature a very unpopular candidate, she's not doomed yet, but I think the odds are definitely against her. Arizona, I'd say, is lean Republican because the sole Democrat candidate in the race is the major candidate, at least, is not very good at communicating. You could say she's a bit too far to the left, just like the chair of the Nevada Democrat Party. I mean, sometimes the Democrats in these western states just elect leaders who are a bit crazy, but the Republicans are running good candidates. Not perfect, but decent candidates, like, for example, the Secretary of State, and I think they'll be able to win, especially in a midterm year that features a Democratic incumbent. Now, New Mexico will be lean because the governor there had some scandals going on. Minnesota will be lean too because Tim Walz, I don't think he's going to lose. If he'd run against the My Pillow guy, Mike Lindell, that'd be hilarious. I don't think Lindell's gonna run, but anyway, Tim Walz should be relatively safe even in a Republican year. I wouldn't really say that about Tony Evers though. You could even go as far as saying that it will be lean Republican, but because Evers has the incumbency factor, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt and put it as tilt for now. However, I really don't think Evers is going to win. He won by a very slight margin in a very, very blue environment, and whether it will be Scott Walker again or some other Republican, I do think they'll be able to unseat Tony Evers, and yeah, that's just what I believe is going to happen. Now, same case, by the way, in... Actually, I think I'm going to put Wisconsin as lean. Yeah, okay. I'll let you guys decide this, whether you think it's going to be tilt or lean. But for now, we're going to leave it as, as lean. Michigan, this is a tough one. Michigan's really, really tough. And I believe that, actually, as of right now, Whitmer is slightly, by the brink of a hair, ahead of the Republican challenger, who is, of course, the former Detroit police chief. I think he's a very good candidate, and he's also running a good campaign as of right now. There are lots of people who really hate Gretchen Whitmer, rightfully so, as I think. She's really not done a good job, and she's also quite hypocritical, but anyway, I wouldn't want to kidnap her, but she definitely shouldn't be governor. Anyway, I believe that right now she's super slightly favored, but of course that can always change. And I think it is going to change that as soon as the race progresses, she's going to fall behind. So yeah. Anyway, now let's go to Virginia, which, as of right now, just like Michigan, I believe to be a complete toss-up, because the race has narrowed further. Unlike with the California recall election, which went from being a narrow race to being with very, very strong Newsom odds. in Virginia, you're actually seeing a race that could end up with a Republican governor, with Glenn Youngkin. Glenn Youngkin is running a fantastic campaign, and I don't really have any doubts that he's going to be successful in some way. It doesn't mean that he'll have to win the governorship, but the odds for him are good as of right now. All right, Alaska is going to be likely, by the way. Even though the Republican governor there is not super popular, he's also not super unpopular, so he's gonna win. In Florida, Ron DeSantis will win by a lean margin. I have no doubts he's going to win, but Florida still will be a close margin state for a while. I don't think it's going to be a safe Republican state, as lots of people say, but it will be more of a lean state in the future. Now, we got 4 states left. I believe Maine will be lean to likely Democrat. I'll put it for likely as of right now because I don't really see a reason. I don't really see any good Republican candidates there. I think New Jersey will be lean because right now that race is tightening up as well. Georgia and Pennsylvania are probably also going to be extremely close. They're both heavy swing states. In Pennsylvania, I believe the Republicans are running. Sean Parnell there is running either for governor or for the Senate, and Josh Shapiro is running. The incumbent attorney general is running for governor. Now, who's going to win that? Tough. It will be a Republican favorable environment, but as of right now, I believe Shapiro is favored to win. But I do think I'll have to reverse the Michigan call. I don't believe that Whitmer is going to win. I think if the election was held today, she would win, but if it was held like in 1 year, she's going to lose. Yeah, because there's a lot of trash that can be talked about her. Now, last but not least, the state of Georgia, and of course, Nevada. We've forgotten about Nevada. I think this is going to be a tilt Democrat state. The governor there is not really having a good run, but historically, Democrats have survived elections in Nevada pretty well, even if it was by close margins. It's just not a very flexible state. It always goes to the Democrats by around the same margin, and it will do the same again this time. And in the state of Georgia, it is going to be a tough call again. Some of these states like Pennsylvania, Michigan, Nevada, they're really, really difficult to make a decision about because they are so close. But in Georgia, I don't think Brian Kemp is going to lose his primary. I believe the odds are around 60-40 in his favor. But even if he doesn't, he'll have issues getting the base out. And yeah, the Democrats, Stacey Abrams, even though I don't really think she'd be the best governor because she has very few experience and she has kind of a very big ego, I do believe she's a good candidate. I mean, she knows how to campaign. And therefore, I would say... this is so difficult to make. Because it's a Republican favorable environment, I would say Brian Kemp is slightly ahead. Also, Herschel Walker will be on the ballot, who's a very good Senate candidate because former college football player in the South. I mean, that says a lot. But anyway, this is my prediction for the governorships. It's the first one I've ever made, I believe. And I really hope you enjoyed it and liked it. Please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, or comment in the comment section down below. That'd be really, really, really appreciated. And I hope you'll have a fabulous Sunday afternoon and Sunday evening. And see you next time. Max out.